Hello, everybody. I am Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope, and welcome to What I Watched This Week. Let's just get right into it. I started off this week with Steamboy. Steamboy is a perfectly generic movie about a young boy whose grandfather sends him a MacGuffin, and he has to keep the MacGuffin away from the evil organization working for his father. It was really, really generic. A silent voice. Okay, so everyone was going all gaga for a silent voice, and I had the manga suggested to me before, so I thought, why not? I'll check it out. This is about a guy who used to bully a young deaf girl, and then she moves away, and then he gets bullied. And the whole basic plot is about, it's about bullying, but it's also about him reconnecting with the deaf girl and their relationship as they learn to grow as people. Everyone said that this was like a really great movie and that they all loved it. But I have to agree with it. It was a really great movie and I really loved it. Ha! Bet you didn't expect that, bitch. Yeah, no, it was good. I'd suggest if you haven't seen A Silent Voice, you should watch it. It gets a lot of comparisons to Your Name, which I also liked Your Name. But I think I talked about Your Name on one of these vlogs before. But honestly, I liked it better than Your Name. So, we'll take that for what it is. Alright, Pale Cocoon is about... It's hard to say exactly what Pale Cocoon is about without spoiling it, so I'll just give like a basic start of the story summary of it. Pale Cocoon is a bunch of people trying to reconstruct the history of Earth inside of like this... I mean, that's their job. It had some twists to it, but without like spoiling what it is, once I got to those twists, I was like, okay, why am I supposed to care? And that's the real issue with Pale Cocoon, is I didn't care. Okay, Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale movie. Yeah, so this movie's of dubious canonicity, but the basic idea is that there's an ARG that's super popular that would probably not be able to exist in real life, but fuck it, who cares, it's a movie. And honestly, it's probably my second favorite part of the Sword Art franchise. I like it less than Gun Gale, but better than everything else. It was just a fun action movie, a little dumb, a few problems with it, but overall I found it quite enjoyable. And the final boss was fucking hype. Good soundtrack too, now that I think about it. So yeah. Okay, Mary and the Witch's Flower. Yeah, this is the film from Studio Ponak, which split from Ghibli. It came out recently. And the reason I wanted to watch that, of course, is because I've already seen all the Ghibli films and the Makoto Shinkai knockoff Ghibli films, so might as well get into this rabbit hole. And basically, the movie is split into two parts. One where they see the Magic Academy, and then the second part where they fight the Magic Academy, and it's all about this girl, Mary, who finds a flower that gives her magic. It's really bizarrely paced. I wasn't terribly into it. Okay, Summer Wars is also about a technology that would never fucking exist in real life, but basically there's this giant virtual world called Oz, and someone hacks it and blames the main character, and he has to work with this girl who he's a fake boyfriend of's family to solve the problem. It's actually, here's the thing, I hear the movie get a lot of praise for its action scenes. I thought the action scenes were actually pretty weak, but I was really into like the themes of family and the tension created through the hacking scenes. Honestly, if they had no action scenes, I think it would have been a better movie. But overall, yeah, I liked Summer Wars. I thought it was pretty good. So at this point, we're on a roll with these things I was watching. Metropolis. Yeah, Metropolis is kind of a famous one. It's a pseudo-adaptation of a manga from the dude that did Astro Boy. I don't remember his name, but you can find it pretty easily because the dude did Astro Boy. And yeah, Metropolis is a movie that I would describe as a mess. It takes a lot of like cliche ways to introduce a lot of its like plots and themes. And there's just so many plots and themes. Like this movie has so much going on. Too much, I'd actually say. A lot of it comes together really well in the end, and I will give it credit for that. And the like art style really lent itself to the like 1920s aesthetic of the movie. So it wasn't an all around downer. I was just could have been done better. Could have used some tighter writing. Okay, Psychic School Wars is absolute fucking crap. That was a little harsh. I didn't think the movie was that bad, but basically, psychics come from the future to ban cell phones in a school. Alright, so Inukami the movie I watched because I'm actually a big Inukami fan. It's one of my favorite anime. And basically, without getting into spoilers, a guy wants to ban all the perverts in the city. And, well, it is Inukami, so he's got a lot of people to ban, and our main character. Has a lot of what you come to expect from Inukami if you're an Inukami fan. A lot of penises all over the place. It's a good time. Okay, Ikkitousen Extravaganza Epic. Yeah, alright, so I'm an even bigger Ikkitousen fan. I don't know why. I should not like Ikkitousen, but for some reason it's always been one of my favorites. And Ikkitousen Extravaganza Epic takes people from another part of the country, so we're not dealing with their main characters, and they end up attacking the main cast, and there's some fucking fights, and it's hype as shit. And it was pretty great, and you saw Kanu, and Kanu was glowing. It was fucking hype. California Crisis. Okay, California Crisis is about this young girl and this guy, and they run into each other, and they acquire an alien artifact, and they have to return it to Death Valley while the Soviets and the government are chasing them. The ending is a little flat, but the ride to the ending was great, and it gave me like a lot of almost like 80s action movie feel. I was into this movie. I liked California Crisis. I thought it was pretty fucking hype. Okay, Hotarubi no Mori E. I really need to learn how to pronounce those fucking E's at the end of shit. Okay, yeah, so basically a young girl runs into a spirit in a forest and she can't touch him or he'll disappear forever. And it's about their growing relationship. Honestly, it felt like this movie was... Is this movie... Whatever. It felt like this movie was building up to something, and then at the end it just kind of let me down. So the whole movie was okay, but it felt like it didn't really go anywhere. So, yeah, I got a lot of suggestions for that too, and I didn't feel it. I wasn't feeling it. Mars of Destruction, often called the worst anime ever made. It wasn't, actually. It wasn't even the worst anime I watched this month. I can't really say what this is about because it was only like 23 minutes and I don't want to spoil it because it's in a situation where if I explain the actual plot, I've spoiled the whole thing. And I know nobody wants me to spoil Mars of Destruction. So basically, It gives me a lot of Evangelion vibes, like it's that kind of thing, and there's like aliens from like Mars, and they're attacking people, and then they have to fight them. So yeah, that was Mars of Destruction. It was totally adequate and fine. It gets this like rep as this worst fucking thing ever, and granted, it's not good for sure, but it's not fucking awful compared to some stuff I've seen. Okay, Idiot Boyfriend. Okay, I want to say that the plot summary that they give for this is that this guy has no redeeming qualities other than he's hot. And the basic plot is this girl gets a really hot boyfriend. He has plenty of redeeming qualities. Like, the suggestion that he has no redeeming qualities implies that he's hot, but he's a huge shitbag. He's actually a nice dude. What they mean when he has no redeeming qualities is that he's a fucking idiot. So it's this girl with this boyfriend who's a fucking idiot. But he's really hot. And that's the basic plot of it. It's kind of funny at the beginning, but then it gets less funny as it goes on, and it doesn't really go anywhere. So... okay, Shoujo Tsubaki. Shoujo Tsubaki is a fucking mess. Basically, this young girl gets picked up by a circus, and then she gets raped and abused, and her puppies get murdered and cooked into stew, and then she marries a magic dwarf man who's a bit of an asshole, and then she's just miserable the whole time. It's actually really shitty and confusing how they portray it. The animation sucks, and the ending, I'm not sure if she was hallucinating or she was in a magic trance or something, and I looked at the manga and I'm like, okay, maybe this is a really bad adaptation, but this was actually, as far as an adaptation goes, quite good, because they adapted basically every single panel from the manga, which means that the manga just sucked and it didn't have much to work with, although it was still animated like shit. So that's Shoujo Tsubaki. Prefectural Earth Defense Force is about a group called, I want to say, the Telephone Pole Company or something, and they send out a message that they're going to take over this, like, small countryside town, and so the mayor calls on, I think, the baseball team of the local high school to team up with a cyborg that was created by a doctor because of a car crash, and together they fight the Telephone Pole Company. It's fucking crazy, and it sounds like it's good, but it isn't. Appleseed. Yeah, I thought Appleseed was this giant mech battle series, kind of like a Gundam kind of thing. It wasn't. It was about, like, two cops, and one of them happens to be a robot, like, in this, like, I would say dystopian city, but I would say dystopian as in its original meaning. Like, it's a dystopia in that it's a shithole that pretends to be, like, this perfect society. Like a classic dystopia, not the just general shithole that the word dystopia has come to mean. It was okay. It was fine, I guess. Not much to say about it. Kite Liberator is the sequel to Kite, which I used to describe as the worst anime I'd ever seen, but it's no longer the worst anime I'd ever seen. And it has, I think the main character of the original Kite is now a bartender. I think she survived the ending of Kite. But I don't know, and I didn't want to, like, back it up to find out. And it's about this, like, young girl who's the father of this dude on, like, Mars, and then he gets infected with, like, a food that makes him into a bone monster, because they added bone monsters to the lore, and then she kills criminals and shit for something. It's fine. I mean, it's actually better than the original, but it's still not worth watching. Attack on Titan, Birth of Levi. Yeah, so this is about Levi or Levi. I don't know how you fucking say his name, and I don't care. His backstory, where he grew up, like, underground, and then he tried to get citizenship, and then he gets, like, drafted into the Survey Corps. It's, like, I don't really like his character. I never have. I know he's everyone's favorite, but he was always just, like, to me. And that's kind of how I felt about this OVA or whatever. It was alright. It was fine. Like, now I know where he came from, but I also don't give a fuck. And I don't think it was an interesting enough story to be told, honestly. It's like, oh, he had his friends killed by Titans. So's everyone. Whatever. Garakawa is... Okay, it's hard to explain Garakawa without spoiling this one either, so I'll just give you a basic idea. It's like The Matrix, kind of, where there are worlds that are being simulated, but it's about the people who run them, and they have to fend off, like, viruses and system crashes, and then a mysterious girl appears, and what's her purpose? I don't know. I mean, I do know, because I watched it, but you don't know unless you've watched it. Yeah, it was okay. It was decent. I think the ending felt a little bit rushed, and I don't think that it needed two montages dedicated to the girls bonding. I think I would have been okay with a single montage about that, but you know, what couldn't be done better, you know? So that's Gorikawa. Lingerie Senshi Papillon Rose is an almost Sailor Moon parody, but it also acts as it acts as a parody, but it also subverts magical girls tropes. And it's about this slutty high school girl, and she becomes a magical girl from this magic cat, and it's all about crude humor and sex jokes. She's a hostess at a hostess club, and her main weapon is a fucking vibrator. And one of the villains is a hardcore lesbian, and they introduce the main villain as her having her feet licked by this dude. It's actually funny as fuck. And its ability to get into the crude humor due to the nudity is really what pushes it in a creative direction. I liked it. I thought Lingerie Senshi Papillon Rose was pretty darn good. Then I watched its sequel, Papillon Rose. Now, for whatever reason, Papillon Rose wasn't allowed to get as crude with its sexual humor, which means it didn't have sexual humor, which means it didn't have humor, so this wasn't funny at all, and since the subversive elements of the magical girl genre were mostly pushed through the sexual aspects of the original Lingerie Senshi, that also means that it wasn't subversive. So if this wasn't subversive and this wasn't funny, what was it? It was a Sailor Moon ripoff, and it was really bad, and it was really boring, and it went on forever, and I hated it, and fuck the fucking sequel. I see why this didn't go anywhere. It's because if you can't go hardcore with it, you can't go anywhere with it. What the fuck were they thinking? And with that, that was the end of that. I watched 100 anime in 1 month. Yes, I did just repeat that so I could use it as the title again, but this time in a different context. Yay. The next couple vlogs, wow, I think it's the longest vlog yet. The next couple vlogs aren't going to be nearly as long, obviously, because I'm not going to be watching this much anime every week anymore, which is fucking great. And I'm also going to immediately get starting into creating that UQ holder review. So yeah, let's not draw this vlog out any longer. I've been Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.